the intention with the collection was to make the reader, as a voyeur or a witness, quite uncomfortable in that position. So if you're going to read it in one sitting, maybe have a strong drink with you, or maybe a red wine. It's not the happiest. So writing Slide, the process I went through was just get up very early, maybe read for an hour, and then write for 2 to 3 hours after that, and do that every day, and just get into a momentum. And poems like Crystal, which I've just read, I was looking through the drafts, and it goes up to like 50 or 60 drafts on a single poem. And between drafts, the only thing that would probably change was a word or the placement of punctuation, and then it would move back. So drafts would move forward and then move back constantly. So it was just obsession, really, and obsessiveness about it. Those groups of 5 poems felt like they had a little bit in common. They're approaching the same sort of themes. I was also I was told that while I was putting I was mentored during the process because of the Peggy Poole Award, and I was in conversation with Michael Simmons Roberts a lot about it, and he was talking about putting a collection together, and they usually have 5 sections. So you have your beginning and your end, and then your heart with 2 on either side of it as well. So I was looking at building a collection around that and making very distinct separations between them. A lot of the poems I'd start writing, I'd have an idea of 2 things that shouldn't fit but do, and I changed by that. And with those ones, it was actually like a specific image rather than a concept, and then I would build around that. Most of the smaller ones have a date and a place attributed to them as well, so they were quite sudden in their conception. So I was in that place and that time, and I would see something, and something would just hit home, and I would play with the image. So actually, some of them would start as huge poems, and that just didn't work. And then you'd be like, well, I'll save that little bit because that seems to be doing something. So yeah, they had a different process to them, those ones, smaller ones. It's surreal being on the shortlist for the T.S. Eliot Prize, because when I started out writing, I lived in a studio flat with my then girlfriend at the time, and we had 2 rooms. So we had the bedroom, kitchen, and living room, and then we had a bathroom. So I would get up to write, and I would go, not to disturb her, I'd go to the only other room, which was the bathroom, fill the bath full of pillows, and lie there and write. And what I'd do as part of my engagement with poetry, reading or writing, is I'd watch YouTube videos. So I'd work my way through the archive of the T.S. Eliot Prize, doing this. So to be sat here doing it, it's just a surreal experience to go from sitting in a bathtub to sitting here and talking about it. So it's it's a lot of my poetry heroes have been either nominated for the prize or judging the prize. I mean, there are some of my heroes on the list with me and on the judges this time. So it's just it's a highlight of my life, really.